Life throws us daily challenges. Living with depression or anxiety can strip us of our joy. At SpirClip, our goal is to provide helpful insight to make your life's journey easier. Welcome to SpirClip, a journey to a better you.
Altruism is I think, for me, the most powerful way to use the power of social connections, because an altruistic act, if I do something nice for somebody else, I'm connecting with them and I feel good because I'm doing something nice for them. I feel better if I do it for truly altruistic reasons. They've done experiments where they've shown that if someone does something nice for someone else for self-development, they still get a health benefit, but the benefit won't be as big as it is if they do it for truly, as far as possible, for the other person themselves.
I think, sorry to interrupt you there, Dr. Howick. I just wanted to,
all the time.
No, yeah, I just wanted to point that out, that particular part of your course that I think is quite different. I've never come across something like that before, or someone actually talk about doing that specific type of act that will actually not only help someone else, the world, but also like precipitously help you in some way because you are giving. And I think that I really love that element about, what Dr. U is about, because we think so much that, we just it's all about us. We got to work on us, or we got to feed our thing. But actually, the more we do give, the more really the universe rewards us in the end, right? With either benefits or health or happiness, right?
That's a really important point. I'm glad you interrupted me. Please carry on doing so. And the altruism is actually a mystery from the selfish gene perspective. So the kind of hardcore, simplistic theory of evolution, whereby my genes are selfish. My genes want to propagate, reproduce as much as they can. By that rationale, by that theory, altruism is bad for two reasons. First of all, if I'm doing something nice for someone else, for you, I'm taking away time and resource for building up my own wealth and health and making my own babies and so on. So altruism is a mystery from the selfish gene, simplistic, evolutionary point of view. The only way to explain it, and some evolutionary biologists have brought this up, to explain altruism using evolutionary theory is to say that we're all in this together. It's not my selfish genes or your selfish genes. As a human race, we are all in this together. And that's what's beautiful about it. And I think that's explains why, also in evolutionary scientific terms, why we get this immediate health benefit. It's not just a feeling that we feel good. There's a measurable health benefit we get from altruistic acts.
And I want to feed that, if it sounds all right to you, Doctor, into the part of your course that says that focuses on empathy, right? It's a be nice to yourself.
Yeah.
You still currently hold the title of the Director of Empathy at Oxford. Is that correct? The Empathy
Yes,
program?
the Oxford Empathy Program.
Yes. So that's a very unique type of program, I would say, that is offered like in any institution, right? I think it's just quite profound that there is a program like that, really. I mean, it's just incredible, and it also being in Oxford is really interesting.
Yes.
So people need to understand, really, I think, in better detail what empathy also is, okay? Because I want to kind of tie what we were just talking about before with the theme of empathy. So, you're the director of the empathy program at Oxford. What really, can you just give a clear definition, people, what empathy is? And I think it's not easy for everyone to be empathetic for a myriad of reasons, but how can we practice being more empathetic in general as well?
Great point. So yes, this director of the Oxford Empathy Program grew out of my research with thousands of people in healthcare. And it turns out that doctors who take more time to enhance their innate empathy for their patients don't just make their patients feel better and say, wow, that doctor's a nice person. It reduces their patient's pain, reduces morphine use, improve satisfaction, quality of life, etc. So I learned that this empathy wasn't just a kind of fluffy thing. And it was actually a tool which doctors can use. And the evidence upon which it's based is the same kind of evidence we use to prove drugs work, namely randomized trials. It doesn't have a huge benefit, but it's a benefit. That got me thinking, well, what about self-empathy? Because I realized that, how can I apply this in the Dr. U course? Well, it turns out that I realized humans are often more empathic towards their dogs than they are towards themselves. I mean, let's give an example.
I think it's easy to do that. For me.
Let's say your dog makes a mistake, does something naughty. My dog used to get into the peanut butter and eat it or whatever, I mean, you might get upset with them if it's right. They don't understand if you scold them 5 minutes later even. So if it's right in the moment, you can kind of give them a little, instruction that it's not the right thing to do. Then you forget about it. You don't keep reminding them the next day, the next month. But for ourselves, we make one mistake and we'll play it in our minds that day over and over again, next week, next year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, more later. Instead of just saying, hey, you know what? I'm not saying to ignore mistakes, learn from your mistakes, absolutely, but playing it over and over again, literally tens of thousands of times, does not help. Make a note, see what you can do to change it, do your best, pat yourself on the back, and move on. So that's what I mean. And you asked about what the definition of empathy is. Some things are hard to define, like the word love. Trying to define the word love in the dictionary. You're going to read it in the dictionary and say, well, that kind of makes sense, but it's not really doesn't make sense at all. So the word empathy is one of those words where people just know what it means. But if you force me to say what it means, because I am an academic and I do have to do that, it's kind of understanding. And I add something to the understanding, mutual understanding, if it's between two people, or understanding yourself, and then doing something about it. And that's kind of a novel aspect of the way I conceive of what I call therapeutic empathy. So give yourself a little break, understanding you were too tired, whatever the reason was. Make a note for how you can improve and avoid doing the mistake next time. And then give yourself a pat in the back and move on, do something else, anything else.